agora.
Great. So, hello, everybody. It's a pleasure for us to start one more national phase of the negotiation meeting. And today we're going to start our 5th edition. And I'm going to share some slides so we are all on the same page. And it's a pleasure, it's an honor for us all to be here together in this endeavor. So please let me know whenever my slides are showing for you so I can start. Great. Okay, so it all starts when we realize we are human beings, right? Because to deal with differences is intrinsic. It is intrinsic, I mean, to being human, because very happily we are unique. We are different from each other. So differences are part of us, of our lives, and that comes with the uniqueness of us. And to deal with these differences, it is to negotiate. So whenever we negotiate, what we are doing actually is dealing with differences, different point of views, different goals, different aims, different personalities, different dreams, different everything. And that's the uniqueness of being human. But what is the point here? That when we are negotiating, it doesn't mean that for one of us to win, the other one has to lose, right? This is not a sum-zero equation. So, but some of us think about it. Some of us think that for one of us to win, the other person has to lose, right? That when we negotiate, is about winning from the other side and not winning with the other side. So what we suggest in this competition is that we resignify the concept of winning. So we resignify this concept, thinking that it is possible that all of us win, that all of us achieve what we want whenever we are able to communicate, whenever we are able to understand each other, whenever we are able to prepare and to organize our thoughts and to organize our goals, to organize our possibilities, and to communicate that, and also to hear the other party, and also to understand mainly. So by resignifying the concept of winning, we can all achieve what we want. It's not that that's something easy, of course. It takes time and it takes a lot of work, but it is possible. So that's why we are Meeting de Negociação, in English, negotiation meeting, which is this journey. It's a practice journey in negotiation, which means that we practice negotiation. And we negotiate, we learn negotiation by practicing it, by doing it. So the famous learn by doing methodology. And that journey we do with students and professionals from all over Brazil and beyond. Because now we don't have only Brazilians, we have many, many friends and colleagues from other countries. And that's what makes our project transcend our country. And so we can network and learn and share with others also from other countries. And not only that, but in Brazil, we know we are a continental country, and that makes us culturally multiple as well. So depending where you are in Brazil, you can have a totally different culture from another place, which makes us multicultural. And that's also the beauty of, and the challenge of negotiating in our country. So it's amazing to have all regions represented in this journey with us in this competition. And we're going to be seeing each other during the weekend. We have been seeing each other during the qualifyings, the ones who brought us here today to the national phase. So again, this is a practice journey, not only a moment, a unique moment, but a journey that happens throughout the year with workshops, with meetings, and now with the national phase of our competition. So we did have the qualifyings in March in many regions, online represented, so virtually still, but with many cultures represented in many regions in Brazil, qualifying for the national phase where we are tonight. And we all began in the international negotiation competition. And Brazil was the first South American country to participate in the international negotiation competition back in 2017. So we did have the opportunity to be there in person. So, and then to see how they organized the international negotiation competition. So in 2018, we started our endeavor in Brazil. And from then on, we never stopped, because in Brazil, it was very fruitful. The students and the professionals, they really got the project with us and managed to make Brazil very participative in the international negotiation competition since then. So this is our timeline. Since then, we did have the 2018 first Brazilian competition, and then the international negotiation competition was in Cardiff. Then we did have in 2019 the regional qualifiers. So very quickly, we opened up to other regions in Brazil. And then from 2019 on, we did have the regional qualifiers in March, and then the national phase, like the one we are starting today in May. So from 2019 until 2022, we have been having regional qualifiers and then a national phase. And the regional qualifiers, they are in Portuguese. So all Brazilians, regardless of the language, can participate. And then in the national phase, we have it in English. So to prepare the team which will represent Brazil in the international negotiation competition. And also because English is needed nowadays for any market organization and so on. So it's important language for everybody to be stimulated to learn. Okay, and then in 2020, we did have the challenge of the pandemic. And from then on, we did have to negotiate with life, right? So instead of just canceling the competition, we rapidly organized, adapted, and were the first online negotiation competition in Brazil. So the negotiation competition was the first one to happen online in Brazil, very quickly adapted. And from then on, we did manage to have the online competitions. Now, very happily, things are going back to live and in-person competition. So very happy, very rapidly, we're going to be able to be back in person, as we will this year in the international competition. So international competition to 2022, it's going to be in person, which for us is very, very happy news. Okay, and then who we are. So we are this 360 learning experience participants. So we are more than 500 participants per year and more than 3,000 people impacted with participating throughout these 5 years of existence. So we are teams represented by students and organizers and partners, judges and mentors. So all of these people making possible that we are here today, making possible that this journey happens. And what was interesting this year is that we innovate, and the teams, which usually were formed only by law students, now are formed by law students and students from all other areas of knowledge. So negotiating this weekend will be client and lawyer. And the client will be represented by a student from another area of knowledge. So we do have business students, we have students from health, we have students from arts, we have students from anything you can imagine. So it's really, really diverse. And these students are now with us in order for our competition to be really connected to reality, because law students, they need to communicate with their clients as soon as possible, right? And as soon as we can learn to do that, the better we have our negotiations, because negotiation is about communication. So if I know how to communicate with my client, if I know how to communicate in the language of my client, not in the law language, as we sometimes say, right? So this is the importance of the innovative step we took this year to have teams multidisciplinary, really. So in the negotiation table, we have been having in the qualifiers students from law and students from other areas of knowledge, and the feedback so far has been very, very positive. So this is who we are. And then more than 54 teams have been taking part since our first edition, and from all sides of Brazil, really. So from north, south, east, west, teams from students from all Brazilian cities, all Brazilian regions, which makes us really multicultural and enables us to have this very positive outcome. And then what we do, so we are the Brazilian face for the international negotiation competition. And how we do that? First, we start training, so access to knowledge. We have workshops, we have meetings with very, very useful partners that are training in communication abilities, in negotiation abilities. This year, we did have online negotiation trainings. And then we move on to masterclasses, networkings, where we can share and exchange knowledge. So we do have our pillar, as we call it, of sharing all the knowledge and experiences we have. And then we go to the competition to have the learn by doing experience. So learn to negotiate by negotiating. And then how we organize it all. So we organize it all with people, and we are organized in cells. So like really an organism, organized in cells. And these people, these volunteers, which give their energy and enthusiasm for us to organize everything and make it possible for everybody to take part on it. So we have different cells, which is the organization part of these people, and we meet in the organizing committee. So structured in cells, we have many different activities that we do throughout the year for us to be here today. So here I express my gratitude and thank for all the organizing committee members that make this all possible, that we are here today. And these are the partners, because nothing is possible without our partners as well. So we are inspired by the International Negotiation Competition, which guides us. We have CMI Intercer, which trains us since the beginning and presents the event as well. And myself as the managing partner, so organizing it all and making it all possible together with our amazing organizing committee. But we don't stop there. We have our sponsors and Instituto Fenasbach, the Fenasbach Institute, which is here with us. Soon, Lucila will be able to share some thoughts. Great to have her here with us again. And we do have our regional sponsor, Jaza Advocacia, which was with us also in this endeavor. And we have our supporting sponsors. So Entre Meios, Liver, and CAMSI CBC with us together, making it all possible, and our institutional partners, many of whom are with us since the beginning as well, making it all a very positive endeavor for everybody. So now the doors are open. So we start finally our national phase. The idea is that we do have a very joyful and very useful weekend for everybody. And without further ado, I would like to pass the word to our very, very grateful sponsor, and more than that, friend, which is also more than being a sponsor, being with us as a judge, not only in the national phase, but also in the international phase. So now I would like to pass the word to Lucila, and thank you so much for being with us today. The word was with you.
Obrigada, Camila. Boa noite a todos. Para mim é um super prazer participar ativamente de mais um ano do Meeting de Negociação e saber essas excelentes notícias que a gente está indo para outras áreas do conhecimento. É realmente muito valioso o projeto e para nós do Instituto Fenasbach, que acreditamos essencialmente na educação, acreditamos absurdamente que a educação é o único caminho, né, que transfere para as pessoas a autonomia de mudar e transformar as realidades onde elas estão inseridas, não só as suas vidas, como as vidas das pessoas ao redor, as vidas das comunidades, as vidas dos países. Então, para a gente é um super prazer, no 5º ano, né, ser parceiro do Meeting de Negociação. Agradeço Camila, Marcelo, Henry, todo o time que desde o início, desde 2018, estamos juntos, acreditando nesse projeto e atuando também, no meu caso, né, um super prazer ter a oportunidade de atuar como juíza. Estou aqui direto do Rio Grande do Sul, num projeto, mas não podia estar fora. Camille, estou passando um frio na sua terra absurdo, mas não podia deixar de dar boas-vindas aos estudantes, competidores, corajosos, maravilhosos, que estão tendo a oportunidade, pelo trabalho voluntário de toda essa equipe que está aqui, né, de ter essa experiência de aprendizagem prática num método de negociação extremamente poderoso. Então, boa noite, boas-vindas, muito feliz e muito honrada em representar o Instituto Fenasbach e em estar também no papel de juíza, porque é o momento onde eu consigo aprender demais com vocês. Muito obrigada.
Muito obrigada, Lucila. Muito bom tê-la mais uma vez conosco. Uma satisfação enorme, mesmo. E excelente. Então, turning back to English, now we are like Portuguese, English, and that's also the beauty of difference, right? That we can communicate, necessary and possible languages. So now I would like to pass the word to the other organizing committee members, and you can speak in the language you would like, because we are live on YouTube, and that's because we can then have the subtitles. So anyone who would like to understand what Lucila said can see subtitled in English later. Anyone like to see what I am saying in Portuguese can also have subtitles later. So that's why we are live streaming that. So it's accessible to everybody, and accessibility today is so important, right? So we also have this in mind, and that's why it's live streaming so everybody can have it later. So without further ado, I would like to pass the word. Thelma, would you mind starting and giving your thoughts on being an organizer with us? And again, thank you for being here.
Good evening, everybody. Well, it's a big pleasure to be here again, and I'm part of the organizing team since 2020, and well, it will sound awkward, but I'm very thankful for the pandemic, because that was what made possible for me to be part of the Meeting Negociação team, because I'm Brazilian but based in Portugal, in Porto. So only through the screen that I'm able to be part. And I'm your host on the networking sessions. So tomorrow we'll be hosting all of you for us to get to know each other better. And I'm also part of the cell on the workshops and the master classes organization, and part of the whole team. And it's a great pleasure to be part of this great family. Thank you. And let's have fun tonight, tomorrow, and the whole weekend.
Yeah, that's mainly because, thank you so much, Thelma. Thelma is the responsible for our networking. So we do have networking sessions, because even though we are online, we can meet people, and we can, and we may, and we have to share our thoughts and who we are. So since when we moved to the online phase, Thelma is organizing the networking sessions. Tomorrow, we're going to have a networking session for everybody to meet. And we are going to have networking sessions throughout the weekend as well. And when we talk about networking sessions, it's not something that we are used to. It's a very unique way of networking in order to really connect us all. So we use the art of hosting methodology, and we organize in a way that is very efficient, and the feedbacks we received so far are very positive as well. So thank you again, Thelma, for even in the virtual world, enabling us to feel connected and to really get to know each other, which is also the aim of these events, right? So thank you again. And I would like to hear Maria Eduarda, and it's also a pleasure to have you here organizing it all, being our right and left and all part, not only hands, but parts of the body. So really helping it all to be organized and settled. So again, thank you. And the word is yours.
Okay, thank you, Camille. Hello, everyone. My name is Maria Eduarda, or Maria. Maybe you know me because I get in touch with you many times, judges, mentors, teams. It's a pleasure to be here. I was competitor in the last year and the other one, so I am in love with Meeting de Negociação. And now I am part of the organizing team. It's a different perspective because I was part of teams, and now I see how it happens in a different perspective. So it's a growing for me. And I am very proud of Meeting de Negociação, how it adapts and changes and evolves each year. So I love to be here, and I love to be part of a little bit of each cell. So nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Awesome. And now I'd like to hear our master in the mentoring program, which is something that we also have as an innovation in our competition. It's something that we do since the beginning, because not only teams can negotiate and be evaluated by the judges and being negotiating the cases they receive and it all, they also have mentoring sessions. And the goal of these mentoring sessions is that they transcend the negotiations of the competition and are able to reflect about how they can use what they learn here in their daily lives. So how can they transcend the cases they are negotiating in the competition and bring the knowledge they are learning here, and mainly the experiences they are having here, to their real negotiations in life. So the goal of mentoring is by using the Socratic methodology to be provoking really by questions and questions and questions with no answers, only questions. So the students can reflect. So they can reflect on how can I answer these with my own authenticity? So how can I answer this with my own experience, with who I am, and not with by the book answer. So the goal of the mentoring program is to show how important it is to be prepared in order to improvise. So you need to understand the context in order to respond to the context and not to respond to the book. So the point of the mentoring program is to help students really connect to the knowledge they already have inside and really reflect and understand the context so they can respond in a very effective way to the environment and to the other people in the negotiation. So, André, awesome to have you here representing the mentors, and please, the words with you.
Welcome, everybody. Meeting is a very important project because despite people thinking in negotiating as great word issues like the peace and great deals of business, merger and acquisition between companies, etc., as human beings, we negotiate in a daily basis, not only for the great themes of the world, but for our simple life things. So the mentorship cell is to put us as close as possible to the real world, to the real negotiating table, and to challenge, to push and pull the answers everybody has inside. So, as Camille told, based in Socratic method, it's like a roller coaster. So, came from mentorship with open mind and prepared to a journey as a roller coaster. There is not give you the right answer, but to provoke thoughts and get the answers we have to reach together. I wish for everybody a great journey, and again, being welcome. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Andrea. Really something challenging, the mentorship, because it's something that puts us to think how to use everything that we're learning here, like techniques and abilities and capabilities in daily life basis, right? Because it all at the end of the day is about a learning process to solve conflicts, to deal with differences, as we said before, right? And this we do in a daily basis. So we are all every day solving problems, organizing things, and structuring our goals, what we need to achieve, what we want to achieve. So we don't achieve anything in life without negotiating, right? So we got communicating without organizing ourselves in order to reach a goal. So with that, we declare the national phase open. We're going to have a very fruitful weekend, and we're going to be back in 20 minutes to listen to Mr. Wolf von Kumberg to talk about mediation and investment disputes. And it's, again, a pleasure, an honor to have you here, Mr. Kumberg. And now we can leave this opening ceremony for a few minutes and come back in 20 minutes for the masterclass. So again, thank you. Before doing that, I would like to hear someone else. If he doesn't mind, Eric, would you like to speak a few words in this participant's perspective as a student, since you're here with us, and it's a great pleasure to have you?
I wasn't expecting that, but sure. This is my first year competing on the meeting, and it's been really challenging, but also really great. I've learned a lot so far, and I'm really excited to be compete with my team this weekend, and hopefully we'll be doing great.
Awesome, great. Because life is like that, right? Being challenged, and how do I do now? Awesome. And I would just really like to hear, because I know we're going to leave and come back, but I would really like to also hear Judith, because I know it's our first time. It's your first time judging our competition, but I've seen you judge other competitions as well. And it's awesome to have a few words on how have you been feeling your participations, because we did have an alignment meeting with judges already. So if you would like to say a few words, please be happy to do that.
Well, hello, everybody. I met Camille for the first time at the Vienna negotiation mediation competition, and she and I were judging together. And I was so impressed with the questions that she asked and the insight that she had to the way in which people were talking about their clients' positions. It was very different from what some of the other judges did when I sat on some of the other programs. And so I was very impressed by her, and I was so glad when she asked me to join this this negotiation competition. The other day we had the alignment meeting, and I got to hear a little bit of introductions from everybody who's going to be serving as judges. And what a difference from all different walks of life and experiences in business, in the law, different countries, different backgrounds. It was a really diverse group and a very interesting group of people. I'm looking forward to spending more time with them over the next few days. And now I'm really looking forward to this master class. I want to see what takeaways I can have from that I can use in my own practice. So thank you so much, Camille.
Great, thank you, Judith. Also awesome. And before we having a little break to come back, I would also like to welcome very much Mr. Von Komberg. It's amazing to have you here with us. I know you have plenty of time to express your ideas, but if you would like to just give us a hi and say a few words and be welcome as well in this opening ceremony, that would be awesome.
Thank you very much, Camille, and it's a real honor and a pleasure to be here. When I was first contacted, I wasn't sure actually what this competition was all about. So as I learned about it, I thought it was an extremely worthy cause, and I'm really happy to support it in any way that I can. And I'll talk a little bit about mediation. Of course, that's a form of facilitated negotiation, so it fits in with the theme of the event. But I'll also talk a little bit more about investor-state mediation, which is really a new area of mediation that is just developing and has developed over the last few years. So I'm looking forward to maybe giving you all a little bit of insight on my experiences with investor-state mediation.
Great, thank you so much. And that's also related to the cases we're going to have today, this weekend, I mean. So this is also one of the reasons why we are having in the table negotiating client and lawyer. So students from law school and students from other areas of knowledge as well. And because we're also, the cases are bringing more and more real things that students will need to negotiate, right? Because globalization is a reality for a long time already. And also technology is making globalization even bigger, right? Because people can contract, can relate economically, can do everything throughout the frontiers of states, of national states. So we don't see any frontiers almost anymore, right? So that's why it is very, very useful and important for us to have your thoughts on how to solve conflicts when it comes to investments from countries to companies, and in this so globalized and dynamic, if we can say, word, right? So it's again amazing to have the possibility of your participation with us. And without further ado, I would like to close this first part of our starting off the national phase. So I will turn to our IT guy, Márcio, and ask you please to finalize our live streaming, and I'll turn to Portuguese now. So, Márcio, pode, por favor, finalizar a nossa transmissão ao vivo? E aí, só me avisa aqui quando tiver feito, por gentileza.
Perfeito, só um segundo. Muito bem, transmissão encerrada.
Maravilha.